Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eli Singer. I'm the CEO of Jethro, and I'm here with Sue Davis, Director of Application Development for Symphony Health. And we'll talk about Symphony Health being able to provide interactive BI on a data set that has billions and billions of rows using Qlik, Jethro, and Amazon. Before we jump into Qlik, just a few words about Jethro itself. Let me introduce what we do. We focus on one problem, and that is to enable BI on big data. And that for us means BI tools like Qlik, accessing data live, large data sets in a BI platform like Hadoop or cloud. Our customers ultimately measure us based on performance and concurrency. They want to see the same 10-second response time on their large data sets running in BI platforms. What we built in Jethro is a technology that combines 3 different technologies into one product. So Jethro first is a columnar SQL engine, like you will find in a Netezza or Impala, combined with full indexing engine, like Elasticsearch. And on top of that, we added Cube engine. So between the indexing, the Cube, and the column store, we can provide a performance on large data sets. When we talk to customers, the typical use case that we see is organizations starting to offload applications from the legacy DW to new data platforms like Hadoop and cloud. What's driving it is cost and size of data, very simply. The challenge, of course, is that the users want to have more data, less cost, but they're not willing to give up the functionality and the speed. So they want all in all in all. The challenge, of course, when you try to put your BI applications directly on Hadoop, you realize the performance is not there. And what we found people end up doing is pretty complex data engineering projects. Start building aggregation tables, summary tables, denormalizing the data, and so on. A lot of pain. Our value proposition is very simple. Take your Qlik application as is, run it on large data sets, any number of users. We will accelerate any type of query. You're going to get your response time in seconds, and you will not have to do the manual data engineering. Where do we fit? Jethro is a transparent layer between your BI and your big data platform. The way we work, we take your BI data set, we take it through an optimization process. We read the data from anywhere it might be, either an EDW or Hive. We index every column, we add cube aggregations, and then we store it back into Hadoop. When we get the live queries from the BI tools, we have much less work to do. We already pre-aggregated the data, we already pre-indexed it, so the amount of work we need to do is very minimal. The trick here, of course, is that we do all this heavy lifting offline. We've done all the work. Now when the queries come in, we have much less work to do. The other important thing about Jethro is that we use both indexes and cubes to accelerate queries. If you think of it, BI queries range from highly aggregated to highly granular. And it turns out that different technologies work better for different use cases. For highly aggregated queries, we will use our cubes. For highly granular queries, we're going to use our indexes. And it works out that where one shines and works best, the other usually does not. So the use cases that make indexes very efficient, high cardinality, many dimensions, are the same type of queries that would make cube impractical. We combine both. Net result is that today you have 3 alternatives when you try to connect your BI to your big data. One is to point directly at a SQL and Hadoop tool, Hive, Impala, Drill, Presto, Spark SQL, and so on. And you end up doing full scan for every single query. The second alternative is Cube on Hadoop engines. There's several tools in the market that provide cubes on Hadoop. In that case, some queries will use cubes. It will be accelerated. Many other queries will have to go back to full scan. Or Jethro's approach, which combines the cubes and indexes, which means we never have to go and do a full scan. So with that, I'll have Sue tell you more about what they're doing.
So good afternoon. So at Symphony, what we do is we work with healthcare data, and we provide our clients with very powerful analytics to help them understand the entire market life cycle. We do predictive analysis, lots of physician prescribing, pharmacy fulfillment. The big one, patient influence. So when you talk about patient data, you're talking about everything from claims data, to EMR data, to remittance data, lab procedures, you name it. The amount of data is quite massive. And that's why we use Jethro. So if we look at our reporting data, generally we have about 7 billion transactions yearly. It's a lot of data. It's over 4 petabytes of data that we store. Our integrated dataverse is our projected data. It's our prescription and medical and hospital claims data. That accounts for half of the data that we have. Our reporting database links our patient actions to products, prescribers, pharmacies, and managed care plans. And one of the big things to note is we can have up to 900 concurrent users for our apps that use Jethro and report through Qlik. So talking through our current reporting technology stack, currently we use QlikSense and QlikView. We have experience with MicroStrategy, Tableau, and we've even done our own custom in-house reporting tools. That was less successful the first time through. Our data storage technologies obviously include Hadoop, Oracle, Amazon Cloud, Redshift databases, as well as working with flat files from our customers when you talk about things like market groups and prescribing territories and things like that. So we have to be able to integrate all of those different data sources. For data preparation, we use things like Alteryx and SyncSort and Informatica to help us build out our metrics, our custom metrics that we use. So some of the challenges that we've run into. As we know, all BI tools offer some pretty interesting and cool things, but with that comes a price. So for some of our BI tools, we found that we didn't have real good visualizations. For some others, we had issues with customizations. So some of the BI tools are very difficult to work with. They require really tech-savvy users and requires a lot of hands-on training, and it requires our staff to go out and actually work with our users to try to build out some of their BI tools. Another issue that we've run into is long run times, and we've actually had some reports that take so long, it takes over 5 hours to get the data back. That's how much data they're pulling back. So working with large volumes of data has traditionally been a challenge for BI tools. We also have so many different data stores that you've got complex joins, and managing all of those connections can be difficult. Concurrent users, as we all know, can be an issue. And one of the funniest it hit us just recently, because we give our customers the ability to do their own custom metrics and their own choices, we've actually had customers build metrics with logic that actually broke referential integrity and literally brought the system to a grinding halt. So, Jethro and Symphony Health. Jethro actually gives us the ability to build out our custom reports and our data visualizations interactively and get real-time results to our clients. It gives them insights on huge amounts of data and gives them actionable results in like no time. So this is a picture of really what our system looks like at a high level. We've got all kinds of data coming in, Oracle, Hadoop, from our cloud. We do some customization on some metrics and building out some custom calculations and metrics on the data. We take those extracts and we feed them right into Jethro, and then Jethro and Qlik interact, and our users can get to our data. We are using direct discovery, so that the timing is just about instantaneous. Some of the benefits that we've noticed, or the reason we've chosen to go with Jethro is because they have the proprietary indexing and the caching that really helps us get at our data so much faster. And the ability to scale for concurrency is real important when you talk about having hundreds and hundreds of users that can log in same time. Bottom line, Jethro allows us to offer interactive business intelligence. That's huge. That's huge for our clients. They want to be able to go in to the doctor's offices or into their sales meetings, and they want to be able to just bring up the statistics, the product information. So some of the savings that we've seen with Jethro is we've seen both a time savings and a cost savings. So when we looked at it and we compared historically to some of the reports and things that we used to bring up when we did not have Jethro, for the reports that were shorter running reports, less than 2 minutes, we find now that they return in less than 15 seconds. That's huge. So if you've got a report that used to take 1.5 minutes to almost 2 minutes, they now render in 10 seconds, which is pretty impressive when you're trying to demonstrate the statistics. Additionally, for some of our reports that were running anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes before, they're running in no more than 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. So it's very huge, huge, huge time savings. And then from a cost savings, and kind of how I calculated this is I thought about what we would need to have hardware-wise in order to be able to accomplish the same thing if we didn't have Jethro. So because of having to have all of that memory, all of the data cached in memory, and having to have all of that, all of the hardware to support that, we're really looking at, a big cost savings dollar-wise. So at this point, I'd like to talk about a couple of our apps that we actually use Jethro for to help us with our Qlik visualizations. So Decision Flow is one of our apps. It contains transaction-level prescription and claims information that we actually link for patients. It includes not only the data that we get from our vendors, but also a whole slew of derived metrics, including things like for compliance and persistency and whatnot, whether they're new users, whether they're continuing users, switched users, et cetera. So the data includes all of those derived metrics. It's actually historical for 2 full years. So if you think about back to one of the original slides when I said we have like our integrated dataverse our data has 7 billion rows per year, and multiply that for 2 years. Sorry, so it's a whole lot of data. Currently, the Decision Flow application is delivering 26 prescription-based applications, 21 diagnosis, 24 persistency and compliance, and 5 product level with diagnosis. So we're using it for a whole slew of applications just for Decision Flow. We also have another product, our Corporate Vantage. It's a non-market specific application, which means it's all products. Think about all the pharmaceutical products out there. There's a lot of them. There's an awful lot of them. It provides insight into practitioner, payer, and product level data. Again, 2 years worth of data. And our reporting data contains over 10,000 unique products and 8 billion rows of data. It's a lot of data. What I'd like to do at this point is I'd like to do a little demo and show you just how quick.
Escape. You need to go back and escape, I think.
I did hit escape, but I'll go back. Hold on. There
we go.
Okay. So we're going to go into one of our decision flow applications. This is our Wi-Fi connectivity. Here it comes.
It's not Jethro.
It's not Jethro. This is the Wi-Fi. Here we go. This is Jethro. That's how fast it rendered. Did you see? You blinked, you missed it. So literally, our reports render, and I can switch from one report to the next, and you'll see that it renders almost instantly. Our clients can go in, they can say, okay, I want to change the timing of this. I want to just look at like the last 6 months, okay? And look at how fast it comes back. It's instantaneous. They can click on a product that they want to see. They can get their information for just that product right away. So this is one of our apps, and this is a byproduct app, but you can see that you can get source of business metrics. You can look at things that are brand new to the product, et cetera. They can click on it, and it's right. The information that they need is right there. Let me look at my switch data. Who's switching to that product? That fast. So it's amazing how fast those metrics come back. And then if we take a look, where did it go? Hold on one second. There we go. Just take a moment. We also use it for a Qlik View app. So what you saw was the Qlik Sense app. We also use it for a Qlik View app, and you saw how fast that rendered. This has over 8 billion rows of data in it, and you just watched how fast that came up. So,
cool.
There you go.
Thank you. Any questions we can answer for you? Any answers, feedback, thoughts? Anybody believes it's not real? So the question is, Jethro passes the query to an underlying engine or does it itself? The answer is Jethro does it itself. So on the one hand, we have Qlik on top sending queries to us. Every time you interact with the application, Qlik sends queries via direct discovery. On the other side, we took the data set from Hadoop or EDW, we optimized it, we created an indexed and cubed version of it, which we then stored back in Hadoop. So when we get the queries, we only use our cubes and indexes. We don't have to go back to the original data at any time. How easy is? The question is about how easy it is to implement Jethro.
Really easy.
Thank you.
Super easy. Our guys loaded it up and had it up and running in like half an hour.
Yeah, we usually have POCs that take only days. I mean, the installation of the product takes really minutes. Then we have to go through this indexing and cubing process, which depending on how big the data is, can take several hours. And then you take the application as is, you change the data source, you point to Jethro, and off you go. It's pretty simple. So the question is about the data model. We try to maintain the same data model as you had in, say, in Netezza or Oracle or Hive or whatever it was. It's a good question because oftentimes when we come to customers, they already tried Hive or Impala or any of those other tools. And when those tools don't work, they end up doing a lot of data engineering. So you end up with a denormalized data set, and it still doesn't work. Now, we actually prefer a more traditional star schema snowflake where the data model actually matches the application need, not the limitations of the data platform. And if your data model is really star schema-like or snowflake, we can then use our incremental updates. So we have customers that bring new data in every 15 minutes. And we can incrementally update the indexes and our cubes literally with zero interruption to the users. Yeah. So the question is, can you take a Qlik application running with star schema as is and point it to Jethro? The answer is yes. That's exactly what it's meant to be. You don't need to change your applications to use Jethro. You change the load script to point to Jethro. It's a little bit more involved because direct discovery has some limitations. So the script has to be a bit more sophisticated. You put all the joins into the from statement. But by and large, the application itself doesn't change. Jethro itself, how it's developed, it's a C++ engine. Oh, use Jethro? It's from a BI application development, Jethro looks like any other data source. So they don't treat it any differently. Sorry? No, we don't do visualization. You would use Qlik on top. But as a Qlik developer, Jethro would look to you just like DB2 or Oracle or Teradata or Hive or anything else. Anybody ever tried Qlik with a billion rows? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, it's a good question. So the question is, how do you get the data into Jethro? You get back here on stage. You would use your typical ETL tools. So you can think of it almost like doing a select star from Oracle. You pipe it to Jethro indexer, and then we would just store it back in Hadoop or so on. So whatever ETL tool you have in place, you would use to extract from the source, pass it on to Jethro, and then you would use the same thing for incremental data. So once an hour, your ETL tool will pull the new data from, again, anywhere else, pass it to Jethro, and we will incrementally edit. No, it doesn't have to be on Hadoop. Most of our customers use Hadoop, but in the case of Symphony Health, they use Amazon's EFS, which is an NFS platform.
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the attention and questions.
Thank you.